Tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Talk on a Monday night is here. It's up. It's ready. Omar joins me. It was a wild week. That's why we had to do it on Monday night. That just means we can talk Monday Night Football. And there was a lot of thoughts this Monday night. We talk about it. This episode is special too because, well, you'll see why. Getting festive. It's the season. Before we get to that episode, if you are new to the channel, give it a subscribe because there's a new show up. My 4-part series of opening scenes with me and cousin Adrian Ramirez just dropped. Second installment is up there, so go check it out. It's all on the channel, so subscribe to it. You won't be disappointed. This week in the NFL, we're at week 14. Carmona joins me. He's got a lot going on. We talk big picture. We talk games, other games. San Francisco getting hot, perhaps. Miami sliding, perhaps. Las Vegas Raiders get a big win. Oh, wait. No, they didn't. They got killed by Baker Mayfield. He got there the day before. Damn. Anyway, the Sunday Night Talk is here. It's ready. Give a listen. Here we go. All right, it is Sunday night. Wait, no, it's not. We're recording this late Monday night. Omar Carmona joins me. We do this from time to time where we push our show to Monday night. So we made it the Monday Night Talk for this week. So we took in the Sunday night game last week. So we just watched the Monday night game this week. Not to mention we're going to talk about all the games. A lot of 49er thoughts I have. About how you keep falling ass backwards into success this year. I don't get it. I don't get it.
But you know what? It wasn't good because then we lost Deebo Samuel, and it looks like we avoided a major injury because it looks like it's possible he may be ready even before the end of the regular season. But I think we'll probably keep him out until the playoffs. But nonetheless, it's just like we just can't get it together with the injuries.
Yeah. And, before we get into all of that, it is the holiday season, Omar. Right. So I thought I would kick things off a little bit. I've got my festive sweater on, but let's take this up a notch to a little extra here.
Okay. What do you got? Let's see.
Okay. So we got some, all right, there we go. Look at this. We're going to have a couple candles here. We got a mug.
You're in the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, not to mention I got my sweater.
What is all this? Why are we doing this?
Because it's the holidays, man.
Okay.
I've got sleigh bells going. Why beat around the bush here? We need the spirit.
Take it easy with the Christmas spirit.
What are you talking about? Take it easy. You're not a Christmas guy?
Yeah, I love Christmas, but I love Christmas the week of Christmas.
Oh, really? This is too soon for you, huh?
To me, I just want to enjoy some December, not Christmas.
Okay. Well, you're starting off with a extra high and mighty Scrooge alert, Omar, but I'm not going to let you get me down because we have too many games to talk about. We get the chance to talk Monday night for the first time this year. I watched it and we knew we were off to a bad start when on the third play of the game, Kyler Murray gets injured and he's carted off the field. It's looking bad. And then not to worry, about 12 other players get injured during this game. Just total injury fest.
It was bad. And
bad.
I think we just hate seeing, whatever your thoughts are on players, whether you like a team or don't, whether you like a player or don't, I think appreciate what the player brings to the game. And so even though I may not be the biggest Kyler Murray fan personally, I think it just sucks that they lose. I'd rather watch a game, even though I hate the Cardinals. My son loves them, but I'd much rather watch a game with Kyler Murray than a backup quarterback. What do you think?
Yeah, I want to see the best players play.
Right.
I want them to go off because of their talents or the natural flow of the game, not injury, not anything strange or unusual. I watched this game in a different way for the first time ever. I watched the Manning cast version of this game. I started off like watching the Buck and Aikman. By the way, Buck and Aikman are starting to look like each other at this point.
Honestly,
they really do.
Sometimes while they're talking, I can't tell who's the one talking. But
they look like one of those old couples who starts to look like each other when they get to their mid-60s. They really look like that. It really just looks like Aikman is just a buff version of Joe Buck, and Joe Buck is just a skinny version of Troy Aikman. So I watched that for a little bit, and then I switched over to the Manning cast. I never watched the Manning cast, but
What'd you think?
Oh, I loved it. It was like watching a podcast while they're watching a game. And I didn't really know what goes into it. I know they chit chat, but there's so much that goes into their broadcast because they have guests. They have a different guest every quarter. They've got a ton of like pictures and videos they bring up throughout it. They do a costume change and they wear like different hats. And then this was kind of interesting. Did you know Peyton Manning and Eli Manning are the two coaches for the Pro Bowl this year?
Wow.
Strange.
I didn't realize that, but I mean, God, they're just trying to do anything to get those ratings up, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. They're really an enjoyable watch. Like they don't really call the game. It's not like they're talking and then they say like, here we go, third down. Just the game is sort of happening and they just sort of have a conversation and you've got the game on a screen. So it's a really interesting approach. There is still the delay in the voice, in the audio. Like we still haven't perfected that piece of technology yet with these remote. Also with DirecTV and antenna, there's a delay as well. We haven't figured that out yet on just broadcasting. And then lastly, they go to halftime and then Chris Berman gives his little Sunday rundown of highlights, which is fun. This is what I forgot Chris Berman always does. Come the holidays, he always puts in there, let us be the first to wish you a happy holiday. It always struck me as weird. Yeah, it always struck me as weird. Like, what do you mean be the first? Like, what does that matter? I've never heard anybody else put it that way.
You think Boomer gets a kick out of being does he think he's the Kickstarter to Christmas in the sports world?
Yeah, I think maybe it's an ego thing or something. It's like the holidays don't start until I wish you a happy holidays. It's like almost like an old timey broadcaster thing, but I always found it silly, even since I was a kid. Do I
remember correctly that there was a time when Chris Berman was one of the anchors on Sportsnet, or it could have been the NFL show at the end of the 10 o'clock NFL show on Sundays on ESPN. That he would do like a jingle bell, not a jingle bells, like How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Kind of like, but NFL related rhyme.
Oh, wow.
I'll find it.
We'll put the research department on that.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels like Chris Berman is still in our lives, although much less now, but maybe just people from like our age beyond get a kick out of it. But yeah, all the like, let me be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Is Chris Berman a NFL Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I think so, in the broadcasting world. Yeah, all the nicknames. He was like, that was how you ended your Sunday night. You would go to his highlights.
It really was. If you had cable, yes, it was.
Yeah, that's true. You had a cable.
Joe Buck and Troy Aikman obviously Troy Aikman is already in the Hall of Fame for. Well, I mean, didn't Joe Buck also get in?
I don't know. Can broadcasters get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? It seems like we're broadening the reach a lot.
Isn't like Cassell in it? Like there's a contributor category.
Yeah. If that's the case, then yeah, sure, he's done it for so long. I would argue these sportscasters do stuff beyond football. But yeah, sure, if we're going to open it up besides players and coaches, All right.
Okay.
All right. Patriots win this game. Patriots will not die as far as their playoff chances go. So they're still alive in here somehow.
We rode the Cardinals off, especially now they're going to have a backup for probably going into
Cardinals are out
next year too. Interesting that they're going to have a backup possibly going into next year. And I think now we start talking is Kyler Murray's days numbered in Arizona. He's got a massive contract, right? One that probably could have been better for him, but apparently there were some character issues that I'm not saying, criminal issues, but, questions about his off-season work ethic and, if he's really watching film and putting in the time. But I don't know. Do you see Kyler Murray as still the long-term answer in Arizona?
Yeah, mainly just because of the contract. It's almost like you gotta keep trying.
It's like you're like no choice. They have no choice.
Yeah. It's like you're gonna do a long drive. You're driving on vacation, like halfway through. You're like, well, we're already committed. I might as well keep driving. If I turn around now, it's gonna be the same amount of time. Like we have to ride this out. There's no stopping now. So yeah, they have to. You have to see what the extent of this injury is, and then decide. The one who I think is a goner is Kingsbury. Just keeps losing games. Just doesn't seem to really have any offensive attack. He's got some weapons, but nothing has really gelled for him. I mean, I totally repressed the Thursday night Raiders loss from my memory, but it's the same thing. Got tons of weapons, and we really can't do anything. We can score 16 points. So
for sure.
That's my thought on it. So Patriots win, but let's cover Sunday night, because Sunday night, I gotta admit, I bought into the hype. I bought into the Tua fest Sunday night. Like I wrote down so many things that I had to cross out Sunday night. I have Tua MVP ? I have Dolphins going to the Super Bowl ? And then they lose to the Chargers. I don't know if you watched the NBC pregame, but everybody picked the Dolphins. Everybody picked the Dolphins to just cruise Sunday night. And they came out and they were like, Tua's starting slow. We're into the second half now, guys. He is just bad tonight. He had a bad game.
Speaking of teams that aren't going away, the Chargers, they're not going away.
Yeah.
It now seems like, maybe they're getting hot at the right time.
Right.
And,
right.
I just saw a stat today. Justin Herbert, first 3 years in the league, okay, most passing yards, passing Andrew Luck for most passing yards in his first 3 seasons in the NFL. Those are huge numbers.
Mm-hmm. There's just nowhere Herbert can't put the ball, it seems.
Right.
Whether it's on the run, in the pocket, little short pass, deep pass over the middle. The guy's arm talent is so amazing. I can't wait till we find out that he must have got injured early in the season against, was it KC, where he took that hard hit and then he was holding his ribs. Like he had to have been injured. That has to be a reason for some of these losses this year.
Right.
Otherwise, like they are really good on offense. And then Collinsworth couldn't stop talking about how banged up the defense was. And the defense was playing like crazy on Sunday. And then I thought, like, remember we talked about the old time QB and his name was Bobby Hebert? Can we start calling Justin Herbert Justin Hebert?
No, we can't do that to him.
Oh, come on. You don't want to do it?
No, he's too California for Hebert.
Where's he from? I don't even know where he's from.
I think, I know he went to Washington.
I know he went to Oregon.
Was it Oregon or Washington?
I thought it was the Oregon. I thought he was a Duck.
Okay, you could be right. But yeah, do you think we are approaching another golden age of quarterbacks? You got Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Allen, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, especially the AFC just seems loaded on quarterbacks, So remember the group we grew up with, the Elway, Marino, Jim Kelly, Testaverde, Montana, Young, then became Young, but Aikman, Favre. It just seemed like there was And it seems like since we kind of lost the Peyton, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, you can throw in Ben Roethlisberger, you know. It just seems like we kind of haven't had that, but looks like the quarterback position is coming up again.
Yeah, I think the quarterback will always be the premier spot in the NFL. So that's what
in all sports, in all
sports for that matter, which is funny because, you know, he doesn't even play defense. You know, he's on the field for half the time. But it's the most cerebral. It's the most intricate. It's the most, you know, you're a coach on the field, and then you have to have arm talent and athleticism. Yeah, I think we'll always have that parity of we need good quarterbacks for this league to work, because the other side of that argument is the gap that we have to other quarterbacks in the league is huge,
right?
Huge. Like New England has started 2 quarterbacks this year. The Jets are under the 4 quarterbacks to play for them this year.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield signs a contract on Tuesday, plays on a Thursday, and wins. This is crazy that this happens, not to mention the injuries that shorten so many of these quarterbacks' careers. Talking Andrew Luck, talking Kyler Murray, RG3. Remember the RG3 wave?
RG3, yeah.
He was like the prototype. He was the pinnacle, and injury ended his career, poor guy. So I have, you know, thinking going into this game, is it a race between Mahomes, Hurts, and Tua for MVP? Now I think it's Hurts and you think Allen's in there, huh?
I still think he's in the mix.
Okay. The other thing with the Sunday night game, that weird Miami fumble that Tyreek Hill runs in for a touchdown. Like, if that doesn't happen, this game is a big blowout. But when that happens, God bless Chris Collinsworth. He made this game 10 times more fun, because he watches the fumble and he goes, "What is going on? I never seen a play like this before." Yeah.
That was a little much.
I love it. I love it though. I watched the game for Chris Collinsworth most of the time.
I gotta tell you, I was dozing off, and that kind of like woke me up.
Yeah, he is. And then of course he loves quarterbacks. He loves Herbert. Tua has like a rough game. Couple good passes, like the touchdown to Tyreek Hill. Like, Hill is just going to have a big one once again.
Right.
It's just going to happen. And then I got to say, the Miami coach has the best bewildered looks of anybody on the sideline. When he looks confused, that guy. I love it.
I can't peg him. That's one NFL personality that I just don't know much about. But I got to look into this guy.
Yeah, he has these great looks on the sideline. He's got the clear, cool guy glasses. I really like him as a Miami head coach. And this game wasn't even good. I don't think this game was good. I got to be honest. I don't even know if I finished it, but like, I found like 10 things enjoyable about it that wasn't even really on the field. Not to mention, I love NBC's halftime pitch, where Tony Dungy and Jason Garrett tell you what's coming up. I think they're doing this on purpose at this point. It's like, hey, Maria, tell us what's coming up at halftime. And then Tony Dungy goes, Brock Purdy's the man. And Jason Garrett goes, the Bills defense shows up in the tundra, and stares at the camera with the creepiest look I've ever seen. I'm like, how are we this bad at this? It's week 14.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that show.
Again, but that's why I like it. That's why I love it, because it's so bad and awkward. I cannot believe they are anchors.
You like the cringeworthy factor.
Yes, I love bad. I will watch a bad movie over and over again because I love bad.
Like we need to have a show about some new TV shows out there, because Tulsa King, Sly Stallone, it is horrible. But I can't stop watching. It's horrible. The acting's the worst.
You know, maybe entertainers or the entertainment industry has figured it out that we will watch something that's bad.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be like, well, we got to make the best show possible. Now it's like, let's just make something ridiculous. People are idiots. They'll watch it. And I think they're right. What did I watch the other day that had me? Oh, I think it's on Netflix, the Aubrey Plaza movie where she steals credit cards. it starts off really good. She's like, oh, credit card scam. Oh, she's got student loans. She's got to pay it off. And at the end, she just teaches people to steal credit cards. Like there's no arc whatsoever. There's no heist. There's nothing. That's just her looking like kind of cute for the second half of the movie. And you almost see her butt. And we're like, that's pretty good. I'm like, what? This movie sucks. Or maybe when we were young, we didn't have the knowledge to know movies sucked or not. So we thought they were good. I don't know. It's very confusing, but I didn't think that movie was good at all. And yet I watched it all the way through. And that's how we are with the Tony Dungy and Jason Garrett.
There you go.
The Bills defense shows up in the tundra. Like, did you practice this? Well, that was the Sunday night game, but let's talk other games because there were some good ones today. Let's start early with the games. Jets at Bills. Bills win 20-12. We have a Joe Flacco appearance in this game. And then the hard Mike White tackle.
Mike White just like got sent to the hospital for like 3 different reasons, That was crazy.
And then he comes back into the game. He was folding in a half and he comes back and they lose the game. So here's my question. Why does everyone still love the Jets? Everybody I hear today is like, they got a good team. Their defense is awesome. I don't see it. I don't think
I think it's okay. I think it's okay to be skeptical because obviously quarterback has actually been a problem for that team. But I still think they got a defense like that. I love that Sauce Gardner. I think he's going to be the next great DB in the league. We're talking generational talent type. I think he's going to be better than Revis and some other notable cornerbacks. But nonetheless, I think it's still, the coach is exciting. He's young. And I think people are generally rooting for New York to come back.
So you're still in on the Jets. You're buying stock on them?
I mean, I'm buying stock to a playoff, to make the playoffs. But I still think the problem with them is going to be the quarterback.
We're getting to the point of the season where we have a good, bad team. Like we have one of the teams that is, they're bad, but now they're getting hot, like Detroit. And then we also have the category where like we have a bad, good team, like the Ravens. We're like, this team is good, but they're bad right now. They can't figure stuff out, which makes the season kind of interesting and fun, but also very weird. Next game, Cleveland at Cincinnati, the Battle of Ohio. Cincinnati keeps knocking out these wins under the radar.
What a weird year, because what we usually see from a Super Bowl champion is maybe not necessarily another run, but it seems, not necessarily another Super Bowl run, but it seems like they're poised for a deep run. I'm talking about returning, defending champions. But we have seen historically the Super Bowl runner up have just a terrible season,
flip this year.
Following year. And this year, it's kind of like, wow, Rams we can stick a fork in them. And now we got this team that Cincinnati's looking more dangerous than they were last year.
Yeah. And they're doing it like it's not nonstop Tua, Hurts, Mahomes talk. It's just like last year where like we weren't really talking about them. And like all of a sudden, like, oh, wait a second. What? They're got 11 wins. These guys are awesome.
No, right. And they took on this different type team because even their kicker became like a celebrity,
Right,
really
right.
Weird.
Every team that makes a run has that like guy who's kind of a bench warmer or like plays a little bit, but like gets like some popularity. Like it's more common like in the NCAA basketball where the 6th man, like the crowd loves him when he comes in type of thing. That's true. You need that. You need someone to come off the bench and be a crowd favorite. And a kicker is great for that.
Yep.
So Cincinnati wins the Battle of Ohio. Here's the next game. Houston at Dallas. The 1-10-1 Houston Texans go into the red hot Dallas. You know what I wish for this game, Houston versus Dallas? I wish this was a good rivalry. Don't you think? Houston, Dallas. 2 Texas teams, 2 big cities. And it's just not. It's just not a rivalry at all.
It's just not. But although I believe that the Houston Texans, did they not start 1-0 against the Dallas Cowboys, their first game ever? So I remember that.
Well, you see, this could be a great rivalry if they
should be. Yeah. And you're right, a big Texas rivalry.
Yeah.
it kind of like what the Rams and Niners have been able to, come up with. Um,
Mm-hmm.
something like
Cleveland, Cincinnati could be something like
yeah,
that.
something like that. And so yeah, I think that would be nice.
Yeah. Dallas gets the win. Houston makes them sweat it, but they do win. Dak is not great, but it doesn't seem like they need Dak to be great. They got Pollard, they got
Whoa,
Zeke,
whoa, whoa. Okay. They did not need Dak to be great against the Houston Texans.
but they
Fair?
needed that last drive, which he accomplished.
Against the Houston Texans.
True, which we just stated is not a good team.
Right. He needs to be great against the 49ers. He needs to be great against the Eagles. He may need to be great against the Vikings, against the Commanders. Although that they did, the
Yeah, they
Cowboys
killed the Vikings. Yeah,
blow out the Vikings. But I don't think if they play again, I think it'd be a better game. But he needs to be great in those situations. The Buccaneers, fine, be great against the Texans, but that it was ridiculous that game was even that close.
Oh, totally. Like we haven't had that great Dak game per se.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had the thing where the team has to lean on him and he comes through. Like he doesn't want to run the ball anymore. Like he's like in the pocket a lot. He throws short
which is
a lot.
crazy because like if he's running, man, they become a dangerous team.
Yeah. They really have so many weapons, and I think they're poised for a deep run. I really think they've got a deep run in this year. They got Pollard, they got Zeke, CeeDee Lamb, and if Dak
I wasn't last year, that 49er Cowboy playoff game. I wasn't as concerned about the Cowboys as I am this year. I'm a little more concerned this year if I'm a team like the Niners.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year we were saying like, are the Cowboys better than last year? No, I don't think so. And now at this point, like, look at the wins, look at their production. You got to say they're better this year. I think I agree with you. Like going into the playoffs, I would say that's a scarier team than they were a year ago. Moving on to, we mentioned a little bit, Minnesota at Detroit. Now here's my pick for the best bad team that's good. Detroit is 5-1 in the last 6 weeks. They're putting up points every single week, 34 points. They beat Minnesota. I don't know if Minnesota is a playoff team, although they mathematically can still get in, but they are a great team to bet for. They're going to cover the spread.
Crazy.
They're going to score points. And then remember we said at the beginning of last year, oh, the Rams got Stafford, the Lions got Goff. Rams won that one, but now we're like, where's Stafford now? The guy's injured for the rest of the year. Goff is now playing good. This is Detroit's time to steal some spotlight. I like them.
They have to, and I like them too. And I told you, I did think that they were coming up. I think you can go through the tape. I did say, even when they were struggling, that I've liked the Bears and the Lions, coincidentally in the same division. But these two teams have I'm seeing an upward. I'm not, usually they're just on this downward spiral. This time, still a bad record, but I just see more fight, and I think now we're seeing the fruits of that in Detroit.
Yeah, like who are all the bubble teams? Detroit, Giants. Who's the other NFC bubble team?
Even though because of that division, like the Panthers are still in.
That's the other one. Yeah, Panthers. So you got Lions, Panthers, Giants. Who would you want to make the playoffs if you can only choose one?
I'm going to choose the Lions.
Yeah, me too. I want the Lions in for sure. They had to. They even loaned the Bills their stadium for that one snowy weekend.
That's a team like Detroit. They were so spoiled for so long with Barry Sanders and so blessed to have Barry Sanders. And I wish Detroit would come back to those days. Just have a Barry Sanders type player and just have a Barry Sanders led team, and something like that would be cool.
Yeah, Detroit also did one thing that I always love. They did a fake punt during the game. I love a fake punt. Like I don't think we'll ever be satisfied with all the different ways to fake a punt. Like what are the ways? You can snap it to the up back.
Right.
You can
just like a streak.
Yep. Yeah, the punter can throw it, or The punter can run it. I like when the punter like takes 2 steps, like he's going to kick it, and then he just takes off running.
It just seems like such a dangerous thing for a
Yes.
punter to do. But
Very dangerous. Yeah. I love a fake punt. You know, if I were to go show me a fake punt or an onside kick, I think I would go fake punt because at least there's strategy in the fake punt play.
I know it's happened a handful of times in the NFL. I like that play the returning team does where the return team that's moving backwards, they like shift and it makes the team tackling, the kicking team kind of go one direction when the ball went the opposite direction and there were no defenders there.
That's right. I love a trickery play on the return team side as well. That's pretty good too. So Detroit is officially my good bad team. I really hope they make the playoffs. That would be fun. They can really spoil it for somebody. Next game, Jacksonville at Tennessee. We got a serious alarm bell going off for Tennessee, right? They're 7-6. Jacksonville looks awesome, and they beat Tennessee. I keep waiting for this Derrick Henry game, and his stats are good, but 7-6. I think they should be 2-3 wins better than that.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't get a read on this team either right now. All of a sudden the stock is real high in the AFC with the Chargers and not so much with the Titans anymore.
Really not. They're stock down on Titans. I don't know what's wrong with them other than they seem to play to the competition. Like if it's a good team, they play good. If it's a bad team, they play bad. And they lose half of these games. Baltimore is getting they are the good bad team for me. They're a good team. They play bad. They lost Lamar. They lost their second string quarterback for a time in this game too. They're beat up, but I did enjoy that they went with their purple away uniforms.
I like that.
Go purple. No, none of this do a black uniform to look cool. Like you pick a color, you stick with it. I like the purple. And so I was thinking this Lamar thing, he's injured now. Remember like week 2 or 3 of the season where he held up a sign that said, "Pay me my money, management," or whatever, because he doesn't have a new contract. Now the management should hold up a sign like, "No, you get injured too much." Why? The management is coming out looking pretty good right about now, don't you think?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you're always hurt. So
like make the case, Lamar. You're always hurt. We don't have a lot of playoff runs in you. You're inconsistent. Why are we paying you again? Remind me. Because do we want to have another Kyler Murray situation? Do we want to have a Deshaun Watson situation? We have learned that we can get a quarterback on Tuesday and that might be pretty good on Thursday. Maybe quarterbacks are overpaid. Like we know this with running backs at this point. Don't pay a running back a lot of dough.
Right.
What about quarterbacks?
The shelf life is too short. And with quarterbacks, I mean, you end up paying like Joe Flacco money and you get a shell of what he was. And
he was good for a couple of first down passes.
I mean, again, I think we were spoiled for the last several years with the Brady, Manning, Breeze, Rodgers, four-headed monster,
Yeah.
And again, I throw Ben Roethlisberger, near there. I don't know. I think it's fair to put him on there, but it's just those are 5 quarterbacks that just stood the test of time and just constantly went at it against each other. And, we're trying to find that again.
It speaks to just how hard the game is with injuries, and just some players are prone to injuries and some aren't. Like some take a beating and they're there for 10 plus years, and some step wrong, like today with Kyler Murray, and it's a horrific injury.
Right.
It kind of reminds me of the days where receivers or running backs would get injured and they would blame AstroTurf and they'd be like, "Oh, it's too hard." Sports Illustrated would do a piece on dissecting AstroTurf and you would see how far down the concrete is from it. Like maybe field turf. We can start blaming field turf for injuries again. That'd be fun.
Let's do it.
Next game, Philadelphia at the New York Giants. Philly, there's a real possibility Philly could go 17-1, right? Or 16-1, right? It's really possible.
There's a scenario, yes.
Philly is really good. Hurts, I looked him up. Hurts is the front runner for the MVP right now, odds wise. Philly does an odd thing. This is what makes me think Philly is just, hitting on all cylinders, and they might be a team of destiny. It's 4th and 7 in the first quarter. Philly goes for it, and they throw a deep pass for a touchdown. And it's a weird pass where the defender thinks he's going to intercept it, but the receiver he's got the beat on the ball. Yeah. And I'm like, defender, can you use your eyes and look where the receiver is? Because you could easily knock it down. So I just think Philly just cannot go wrong this season. It makes me wish Jalen Hurts would smile every once in a while, because he always looks out. But
this guy means business this year.
He really, really does. I'm rooting for him for the MVP. I think him and Mahomes, head-to-head MVP race.
I'm still going to go with my guy, Josh Allen, but go on ahead.
Yeah, you have a serious man crush on Josh Allen. Oh, I have some conspiracy corner later coming up regarding your San Francisco 49. Well, let's talk about right now. Tampa Bay at San Francisco, 35-0.
We don't have to talk much about the competition. Tom Brady looked bad.
He struggled. There was that one Mike Evans touchdown that got called back for holding, where I thought, if they get this, then they're in the fight. But they had a million holding. Tom Brady's getting choked by San Francisco's defense.
Right.
At some point, they're literally putting their hands on his neck. That being said, San Francisco gets more injured. They lose Debo, more injuries.
Okay, but Debo looked like we thought that was the end of the year. Turns out MCL and high ankle, so he can be back. Okay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you cannot kill these Niners.
Yeah,
they're like the Predator. You cannot kill them.
Right, but then it's like you lose 2 quarterbacks to injury, and the most impressive quarterback performance was the third stringer,
Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant, and now. It's like, are the Niners going to want either a Trey Lance or Jimmy G next year? Who knows?
Right. Who knows? We really need to dissect this Drew Purdy over the next 2 weeks. But going into it, like, Drew Purdy goes in, and I don't even want to say it out loud, but the guy looks like Montana. He's wearing number 13. And I'm almost like, let's put a little stitch on the 3, like that might look like a 16. And it's not like he's dumping the ball underneath.
Oh,
he had some great passes. His parents are in the stands crying. It was his day. He looked good.
Hey, big fan of Brock Purdy. He's saying all the right things. More importantly, he's doing all the right things. A lot of tweets coming out from several teammates just talking about how this guy doesn't act like a rookie. He already choose people out. And you just, if you're a GM like John Lynch and have been around like Kyle Shanahan, you appreciate football players like that.
Yeah, and it goes back to just how fickle the quarterback position is. Like, San Francisco starts with Trey Lance. He gets injured. Then they go to Garoppolo. He gets injured. We're on their third guy, and they're beating teams 35-7. What do you think about this slight conspiracy? I got 2 thoughts. Do you think Jimmy Garoppolo is unlucky? Think about it.
Yes.
He's in New England. He's ready to take over for Tom Brady. No, Tom Brady's not ready to go. So he gets traded. Yeah. He goes to San Francisco. He plays good. He comes within that one pass in the Super Bowl that he overthrows of winning the Super Bowl. He has that. So the next year or 2 years later, they say, nope, we're going with Jordan Love. He's our guy. He hits the bench.
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance comes in, is like, no, we're going Trey Lance. He goes to the bench. He gets a chance to come back. He hurts his foot. He's out again. Like, is he the unluckiest handsome guy ever? I think there's an argument to it. And now
I think that's a great point.
And now here comes my conspiracy thought. Okay, Drew Purdy plays. Maybe they go into the playoffs 1 game, maybe 2. Now Drew Purdy's a hot commodity. Now they have an asset that they can trade. So they can trade him. They can trade Garoppolo. They can do something with Trey Lance. Who does that open the door for, do you think? That opens the door for a Tom Brady goes to his hometown favorite team, San Francisco, for 1 farewell year.
Not if Brock Purdy's the anointed one.
No, they trade him because Brock Purdy is good. So now he's an asset that other teams want. So San Francisco can trade. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Brock Purdy has a good playoff run.
That's
yeah.
a fascinating scenario.
Right. So now San Francisco has 3 quarterbacks that are big assets. Trey Lance, Garoppolo, Purdy, and they can open the door for 1 year in San Francisco for Tom Brady. That's my conspiracy.
I think they would do it.
Okay. Why not? Also, that door is kind of open for Tom Brady to go back for 1 year to the Patriots too.
Mm-hmm.
Why not, right?
Okay.
So that is Tampa Bay, San Francisco. Brings us to KC, Denver. Kansas City at Denver. Kansas City wins 34-28. And
I think we're getting close to the talk of it's time for Russell Wilson to hang him up.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because as soon as Denver gets feisty and starts to make a run, Russell makes this QB run and it gets absolutely smashed. And you're like, oh shit, he's out. Just as soon as they started to, I don't know if you watched that injury, but that looked bad. It looked really bad. Russell Wilson is all really glassy-eyed. And I don't know if I saw this right, but it looked like there was blood in his mouth. I don't know if he just had a red mouthpiece.
I don't know. It looked the way his eyes were was just terrible. So I don't want to dwell too much.
It's really scary because he's down on the ground, not moving a lot, and then he tries to pop right up. Right. And everybody's holding him, and then he's on the sideline clapping and stuff. And you're like, oh, geez, like these injuries seem to be so much more common than I remember. Do you remember back in the day when someone would get bonked on the head or a head injury and the trainers would go out there and they would remove the face mask from the helmet?
And you were always like so really concerned because that was like, he may be dead if they took the face, I
remember the death for Michael Irvin and then they put him on the stretcher. Like, it doesn't seem like we have the same protocol for dealing with the head injury like we did before, but like somehow removing the face mask looked really scary to the viewer.
Yeah, I agree.
So Kansas City's in the driver's seat. It's a Mahomes-Hurts race for MVP, maybe Josh Allen. And then final game of the afternoon was Carolina at Seattle. So now we've got Carolina, who's had a lot of quarterbacks this season. Sam Darnold has a mustache now.
Yeah.
Is now for Carolina. That Sam Darnold can play. He can throw a bullet and he can run.
And from I saw something that at this point the Panthers control their own destiny to make the playoffs.
Panthers, Lions, I forget, Giants. Commanders. Let's not forget Commanders.
Yeah. So it's like, wow, the fact that we're even talking that it's possible Sam Darnold could lead a team into the playoffs. That's crazy.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking with Baker Mayfield being on the Panthers earlier in the year? Remember we wrote him off? Yeah. And he had that one good game on Thursday night, and then he starts headbutting the other players without a helmet. Mm-hmm. He did the same thing Thursday night on the Rams. He plays good on Thursday night, and he headbutts people without helmet. Maybe that's what his thing.
Are we going to talk about that game yet, or are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. You want to move on from Carolina, Seattle? Seattle, my last bad team.
They're done. I think they're done. But
they're struggling at the worst time right now.
Yeah, worst time. But Pat, what were you thinking as a Raiders fan Thursday night, fourth quarter?
Well, I wrote off the team, so now I am in like the season is just fun mode. However, like I still take the games too seriously. So again, the Raiders are up. Like here's the Raiders' offensive strategy for this game. Let's run the ball with Jacobs. Okay, 2 yards. Run the ball with Jacobs. Okay, 2 yards. All right, it's 3rd and 6. What's our 3rd and 6 play? Jump ball. Just jump ball to Adams. He'll catch 60% of them, but like it's not like an intricate wide receiver screen. It's not a crossing route. It's not a great route tree where someone's open. It's just jump ball. Let's just throw a jump ball. That being said, it's working. The defense, Crosby on that defense is playing so well. So I have a show that night. I have a spot in North Hollywood. So I'm like, oh, look at this. It's 13-3. Oh, what did it end up being? 16-3. Right. All right, good. I look at the app, the ESPN app. It's 16-10, and there's 1:27 left. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. They must have got a garbage time score. And then I get a text from you And your text is like, can you believe this? And I'm like, oh, great. And I'm about to go on, and I'm like, just shut off the phone. Just shut off the phone. And it doesn't help that everybody plays fantasy now. So
Right.
the other comics are on the show are looking at their scores, looking at the game, and they're like, "Are you fucking kidding me? The Rams won by a point?" I'm like,
Right.
"Of course they won. Of course they won.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's
It
bad.
sucks.
Like
It was a terrible.
I could get more mad than I am. Like all the holding calls they missed on Crosby that last drive.
Are
There's no reason
are
to get
we
aggravated.
are have you already conceded it there is going to be a new head coach in Las Vegas?
I would like there to be. I wanted him gone in October. Now we're stuck with this guy. It's kind of like, all right, do I want to break up with my girlfriend or get engaged? Like, are these our only two options?
Right.
We have to marry Josh McDaniels. We're gonna dump this ass before Halloween.
Right.
But I mean, think about it. Say they fire. I was gonna say they dump Josh McDaniels. Say they fire Josh McDaniels, and then they hire a new coach. They will be paying John Gruden, Josh McDaniels, and whoever they hire at the same time.
That's crazy.
Can we bring back Gruden? They're still paying him under contract. Can he just come back? Why not?
We've moved past that. Okay.
I mean, there's no way he would want to do that.
I don't even want to get political with you, but it'll never happen.
He would never want to do that. It's like, why would I come back? You're paying me just the same.
Right.
You fired me. I didn't quit. I want him to come back. I think he's got a year left in him. So that was a brutal Thursday night loss, but it's just fun. It's just fun to watch games now. I could get way more aggravated than I actually am. Like we lost to, how many teams did we lose to? The Cardinals up 20-3. The Colts, we were up big time. I'm leaving one out that the team came back and beat them as well. And then this one as well is just horrible play. The Chiefs, we could have won that Chiefs game.
Yeah, that's bad. It's bad. Just
late, it's bad.
Late game collapses,
The late game collapse is exactly right. Just not finishing any of these games. And it's just brutal. It's just brutal to watch because this team's uniforms are too cool to be this bad. It's horrible. So that was my Thursday. That was the games, unless we left any of them out. So that moves us to the awards for the week. Okay. Sorry, no, I'm skipping ahead. That moves us to the weekly game. Of the week. So every week I give you a challenge. And this week, the challenge is, as you know, the World Cup is going on, Omar. I don't know if you're watching it, but I just started watching it. So I'm starting to get into it. There's a game Tuesday and Wednesday morning. Yeah. I like that these games are way early in the morning. Call me crazy.
You get it over with?
Well, like you can wake up early and like nothing's going on yet. Like you're not bothering anybody. Like a football game, you're like, oh, well, let's watch it at 2. My wife's got a thing. My girlfriend's there. I promise we'll go to lunch. No, you just wake up early and watch this. That's how it is with cycling. When I watch like the Tour de France, you wake up early in the morning, you watch the stage, you sip your coffee, and then you go on with your day. It's done. It's over.
I like it. Yeah.
So we got the World Cup challenge this week. So this isn't part of the challenge, but I'm going to ask you this to start. Do you know the 4 teams that are in the semifinal of the World Cup this year?
Tomorrow. Okay. Actually, I don't probably have the right days. Tomorrow is going to be Argentina, and they are going to play Croatia. And then the next day is Morocco, the big surprise, and France.
Yep, you're correct. All right. You're ready for this World Cup challenge then. Question number 1. How many players are on the field per team?
11.
You are correct. The answer is 11. All right, you're off to a good start. Who won the last World Cup?
France.
Correct. 2 for 2. What is a friendly?
A match that does not count. Maybe I would imagine it doesn't count against your ranking.
Pretty close. A non-competitive match used to warm up players for a new season.
Yeah.
I guess you could say exhibition or preseason.
Exhibition, yeah, that's a good word.
What does the term equalizer mean?
A goal that draws you even to your opponent.
Correct. All right. You're nailing all of these. What is the furthest the U.S. team has ever gone in a World Cup?
Wow. I think they won one knockout game. I want to say, ooh. Did they make it like way back in the 30s? No, I want to say the quarterfinals.
Okay, you should have went with that first instinct. 1930, the very first World Cup ever held.
Semis, right?
The U.S. went to the semifinal.
That was my first instinct.
Honorable mention, 2002, they went to the quarterfinals.
Right, I remember that because they beat Mexico in the knockout.
Yeah, that's right. That was a big deal. U.S.-Mexico, like great match.
Yeah.
And final question, what does the term trap mean?
Trap. Oh shit. When you stop the ball that comes to you, right?
Can you be a little more specific? Can you when you stop the ball with what?
Like your cleat, your heel, and just like kind of like stomp on it.
You're close. It's stopping the ball with your body to control it. So anything but your feet.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I think there's another term for stopping it with your foot that I don't know. Yeah. Well, that was the World Cup challenge. So you are watching some of the World Cup now.
Yeah. This year is the first time in a long time I haven't really gotten into it, but I'm going to try to watch tomorrow.
You know, as people who watch, American sports, football, basketball and stuff, like, are you like me where you watch soccer, you instinctively think like, why don't they just fix? And then you just list off 8 things that they could fix. I don't get the concept of a game where none of the players know how much time is left in the game. This is ridiculous. Why have we not fixed this, soccer? Like a stopwatch? Like no one knows how much time is left. Is there a clock? Is there a scoreboard? Well, I don't know why we fix this. And then every soccer enthusiast rails hard against me when I say this. I'm like, well, how much time is left? Well, they played a 45 minutes. Yeah, but all they do is, when the ball's out of play, they what about that time? And then they say like, well, that's why they have stoppage time.
Right.
And then my counter is, well, where's the stoppage time to the stoppage time? All things that could be fixed with a stopwatch. This could be so easy. Why do we have to deal with this?
I think they're just complicating. It's 2022 for God's sakes.
Yeah. Well, it goes, my original theory, soccer was invented to keep poor people occupied. There's no clock. You can play anywhere, anytime.
Just one ball.
Yeah. And if you miss an easy goal, we kill you. It's insane. It's insane. That being said, I am enjoying watching it. So that was the weekly game. That was the World Cup challenge. So that brings us to the awards for the week.
Okay, this is going to be I'm warning you right now, tune out if you don't like this. This is going to be very 49er heavy.
Wow, you almost choked saying that. All right, well, the first award for the week is the Overbearing Parent Award. And I have 2 nominees. Okay. I have Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes' parents because these are our MVP front runners. So if I'm that parent, I'm the parent who's wearing the MVP shirt. I'm the parent who's like screening the phone calls for my sons. Like, nah. Jalen Hurts got to get to bed. Can't be hanging out with you guys. Those are my overbearing parents and the parents of the Detroit Lions and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm like the parent where the team starts off really bad, but then the team gets good. And now I'm like, good for you guys. Like you stuck it out. out. Like you didn't get down. So those are my overbearing parent nominees. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Dan Campbell, and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Of course, the greatest parents around right now, Brock Purdy's parents, that emotional moment they had in the stands. I think if you're a sports fan, you just want to see that. But next, Jerry Rice taking Kyle Shanahan to task on Twitter, saying your star players are getting hurt because you're running too many skilled players up the middle. I thought that was an interesting shot at.
Oh, did he say that? I didn't know.
Yeah, it was a good shot at Kyle.
Wow. Do you think he has a point though? Like, who can predict when they get injured? Although, like, if you're San Francisco, you got to know there's an injury around every corner.
I know that's a problem, but yeah.
And San Francisco didn't even really use Kittle that much in that game.
No, but just
what do you have, like 3 catches?
But look how many weapons they have,
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Joe Montana, Brock Purdy. I also like when the crowd started doing the Purdy chant, like Rudy. They were like, Purdy, Purdy.
Yeah.
It's too good to be true. Too good to be true. Next award, the Hot Take Award. I have 2.5. I wrote this one before the Sunday night game, but I went with Miami, San Francisco in the Super Bowl. But I crossed it out after that Miami loss. It's out. And that's a bad take because Miami lost. They look. Also, I think Miami lost. NBC said this. It's cold here in LA. It's like 50 degrees cold. And Miami, on the Miami bench, they had propane heaters.
Yeah.
So I don't think Miami is cut out for cold weather games. It's just they can't play in in 50 degree. So maybe that's why they lost. If they have home games in Dome, they'll be okay. Anyway, that's not my hot take. Second hot take is New York still stinks.